Hello ladies and gentlemen, and once again, welcome to another episode of MTCN Talks. I want to talk today about a topic that is admittedly difficult for me to talk about. But at the same time, its importance can't be overstated. Suicide. Let's talk about suicide. Now the reason it's difficult for me to talk about suicide is not because it's a difficult topic, although it is, but because it involves me making a very, very difficult confession that I think only 4, maybe 5 people that I know about. Not even anyone in my own family knows anything about this, so if any of you guys are watching this, well, you're gonna learn something, but don't freak out. Last year, in what was arguably one of the worst years of my life, because that was a year when both my dogs at the time died. I lost a good friend at the beginning of the year. Everything was just changing, and I had some very heartbreaking moments. I had some very difficult moments where I had to look myself really hard in the mirror and kind of just try to figure out what was there. During that time, not only did I seriously consider suicide, but I actually had to call the hotline twice. Now, in hindsight, I don't think I would have done anything. I don't think I would have followed through. It was just a feeling I was having. But just the thought that those thoughts and feelings were there, God, that scares me. It scares me. It still does, even now. The fact that it's kind of how close I came. But, you know what? I survived. I got through it. And I learned a lot of important things from that. It taught me a lot about suicide. The nature of it. And it taught me how easy and how tempting of a solution it can display itself as. That's a terrifying thought. When people think about suicide, people tend to associate it with this long, pre-planned ordeal. And while that is the case for many, it's not necessarily the case for everyone. There is another side of suicide that most people don't talk about. No one likes to talk about it because it is just an uncomfortable and insanely unnerving fact. And it's called suicide ideation. Suicide ideation is the mental condition that's used to describe suicidal thoughts. Now, you might dismiss that out of hand as like, oh, that sounds kind of like, well, yeah, that goes with the territory. But what's scary about it is when you realize that for those suffering from suicidal ideation, it can happen at any time, anywhere. These thoughts, these pervasive thoughts. It can be constant, it can be spontaneous. More often than not, though, at least in my experience, it's very random. Now let's add some context to that. So imagine you're on top of a parking garage that's at the very least, 6 stories tall. And you're standing on top of there, and you happen to look over the edge out into the street for no more than a minute. Not even a minute, like a few seconds. And then you hear a voice in your head. And it just says, jump. Just jump. Jump and I can make all your problems go away. I can take away all your pain. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to feel anything ever again. You don't need to feel sad. You don't need to feel lonely. You don't need to feel lost. You don't need to look for a purpose anymore. Just jump and you can finally be at peace. You can finally end it all once and for all. All you have to do is jump. It won't hurt. It'll be quick. It'll be over before you know it. No one will miss you anyway. Now, it's a thought that isn't there long. It's in 1 second and it's out the next. But for that briefest of moments, that thought, that impulse is so strong, so powerful, it is all-consuming. For just 1 second. That's equal parts horrifying and tempting. Because for some, for the briefest of moments, you think, well, maybe you're onto something there. Most of the time, thankfully, people don't follow through in these thoughts, but the risk is always there. Some will plan it out. A lot of people do, unfortunately. Others will just do it just because they can't take it anymore. Hell, I remember in my darkest moment, when I was driving back home, and that whole evening's kind of a haze, to be honest, but I remember that I took off my seatbelt on the freeway just on the off chance that I got into a car crash. Like, a part of me was hoping it would make the decision for me. I mean, that's just what it does to you. That's what it convinces you to do. Just the worst thing. So that's a lot of big scary talk. But what are you supposed to do about it? Well, first of all, never, ever make the assumption about who's depressed to the point of suicide. Ever. Some people may look really sad, but they're not to that point. Some people may look really happy and be horribly depressed. People using humor and happiness and smiles to hide a deep inner pain is very common. And I'm including myself in this category. I've used these same defense mechanisms. But if you're with somebody who opens up to you, they trust you enough to talk to you, or you suspect even for a moment that they're going to do something dangerous, do not leave. Don't tell them how they should feel. Don't tell them they should just be happy. Don't tell them they should just get over it. Don't tell them that it could be worse. Because none of that helps. None of that helps in any way whatsoever. I wish it did, but it doesn't. Because it doesn't matter what we should be feeling. All we're thinking about in that moment is what we're feeling now. And that's what we need your help to try to address, or at least support us through. And don't tell them that you understand how they feel, unless you have also been in a similar position. Because otherwise, I'm not sure you can. That's not to say you shouldn't try to understand it, but don't assume you already do. Everyone's experiences it differently. Your experience could be vastly different from theirs. That being said, you should try to understand it. Just sit there with them. Sit with them for however long it takes. Just, if you're gonna do anything, just let them know that they're loved. Let them know they're not alone. That goes a long way. It really does. Just listen to what they have to say and hold them if that's what they want. Or just sit there in silence with them, if they prefer that. The important part is that you're there. Really, that's so huge. But I think what's more important than that, though, is make sure that you express to them how much what they're feeling matters. But don't abandon them. Even if you can't be in the same room with them, check up on them. But never abandon them. Don't just leave them to stew in their own devices. Because they may not say it, and they may push away, but they need you more than ever. And if none of that works, and it still looks like they're heading somewhere dangerous, the point of no return, call somebody. Call for help. Call a psychiatrist. Call the police. Do something. Do not just hope for the best. Be proactive. And if you're watching this right now, and you've been feeling some bad things, if you've been having some bad thoughts, and you're thinking about heading towards that point of no return, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to look at me. I want you to look me right in the eye. Because I want to talk to you. Just you and me. Hey, how are you? Not good, huh? Things have been pretty hard lately, haven't they? For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're in a lot of pain. And I wish I could take that from you. I really do. Because I think you're pretty great. And you don't deserve any of this. You don't. It's not fair that life has put this on you. And if I had it my way, we could just sit down and we can talk. Maybe for hours even. As long as you wanted to. So we could just talk about how you're feeling. Because I want to understand why you're in pain. If I even can. Because then maybe, just maybe, I can help you not hurt so much. And not feel so alone. But I can't, and I'm sorry. I really am. But since I can't do that, there is something I want you to know. No matter what you think of yourself, no matter how worthless you feel, no matter how sad or how depressed you are, I think you're astounding. I'm not just saying that. I'm saying that because you're here right now and you're watching this video, which tells me that you want to be understood, you want help, and maybe, just maybe, you want to get better. And that is so brave. That is so hard to do. And I'm proud of you. Yeah, I'm proud of you. Do you know how special you are? Do you know? I don't think you do. Because to be going through what you're going through and still trying to find peace, still just trying to get through it, that's amazing. That's incredible. Have you ever stopped to think about that? It's pretty great, right? I know that doesn't necessarily take the pain away. But, you know what? And this is something most other people won't tell you. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be frustrated or depressed. It's okay to feel whatever it is you're feeling. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you an idiot for feeling that way. But if all else fails, know this. I care about you. And no matter what you feel, you're not alone. You're not alone. Alright? And it's not just me either. A lot of other people care about you too, and they want to see you get better. So, do you think you can hold on for a little while? If only for a little while. Can you do that? I hope you can. But if you can, I hope you know that it's okay to ask for help too. You're a fighter. You can do this. Now I have to go. But I hope you'll think about what we talked about right now. So just make sure to be safe. Alright? But just remember, no matter what, we'll be with you every step of the way. Now I have to go. But I want to thank you for being brave and strong today. Thank you for being special. Thank you for being here. So just make sure to be safe, alright? Now, this is for everyone. I want the next topic of discussion to be chosen by you guys. So if you have a question that you would like me to talk about on this show, make sure to leave a comment in the comments below. And make no mistake, I do read all the comments, even though I don't necessarily have time to respond to all of them. But just leave a comment, and maybe I'll pick it for the topic of the next video. For now, thank you all for watching. I hope you all found a lot of peace today. Goodbye.